into army. You turn seas into highways.
This congregation.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us once again on Wednesday nights. I hope that you've been enjoying these teachings. And before all of this happened, we had been in the book of Psalms, and so that's why I've been giving most of my lessons from the book of Psalms. So hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed Sundays. As strange as it sounds, I've been enjoying studying and just something different. Of course, I miss you guys. I'm ready to speak and teach to a live audience. Hunter and I sat down the other day and we just talked about what we could do different and make these videos more impactful, or just something that would speak to you, or so in brainstorming, we come up with maybe me going around and videoing people, just that have been impacted during this time. So I've got some thoughts on doing that. Also, I thought it would be pretty cool for us to go behind the scenes with some of the Bradford Road staff, talk to them, see how it's affected them. Maybe we can talk to some school teachers, some graduates that's just graduating, see how it's affected them, and other stories as well. So we're going to call this Flipping the Script. So instead of Wednesday nights, just me sitting down in front of a computer screen or on stage and teaching, we're going to do some interviews. I hope you're good with that. Wednesdays and Sundays were looking a lot the same, so we thought it would be pretty cool for you to hear from some other people. So I thought about my very first victim in this. Might be a good idea to be my son Hunter, because nobody's been affected as far as the church world as much as Hunter. So we're going to do some flipping the script on Hunter, and I'm going to talk to him right now. So, all right, here we go. Hopefully you guys will get something. Let me adjust this, and let me give Hunter a little taste of his own medicine. So Hunter, sit up straight, fix your hair. Don't look at the camera, look at me. I'm going to ask you some questions. So, by the way, Hunter, I've mentioned you a bunch of times on these videos, and because of all the work you've been doing. Kudos, man. Thank you. I know everybody. Let's give Hunter a round of applause. It's been a while since I've done that. So give Hunter a round of applause, and just thank you, Hunter, for all the hard work. So I'm just going to ask you some questions about church world, your work, and, what's been going on with you. So, first of all, you work full time at the Foundry. So, tell us what that's been looking like. What's been going on at the Foundry?
Yeah, so that's been pretty tough.
Oh, and before we go deep into that, okay. All right, so sorry to interrupt you mid-sentence. Tell everybody what the Foundry does.
Okay, yeah, so the Foundry is primarily an addiction recovery facility. We're faith-based. We're a minimum 9-month program. So we find that 30-day programs and even 60-day programs don't really do what's required to get people to break the habits that they've developed over maybe their whole life. And so 9 months tends to be, well, it sounds like a long time, but even after 9 months or a year, some people still really need a big support system to stay sober. One of the cool things about the Foundry to me is that we have a really great worker retraining system. We call it employment readiness. And so we make money from thrift stores and auto centers. Like 60-something% of our budget comes from those revenue sources. And one of the ways that's possible is that the people in our program work at those places while they're in our program, and that allows us to raise the money it requires to buy their food and a place for them to sleep and all the other things. We only require people to pay $500 to enter the program, and we actually made that cheaper a while back. And so, and most of that's less about raising money and more about having a buy-in, so that people just don't willy-nilly enter and leave the program. They have a little bit of a buy-in. It costs a lot more than $500 to run someone through the program. So
Right. So, and tell everybody what you do for the Foundry.
So what I do for the Foundry is pretty similar to what I do for the church. My title is Creative Media Specialist, so I'll make videos, graphics. We have radio spots that we do every once in a while. You hear us on WDJC a lot. And lately, maybe not coronavirus lately, but in the last year, a lot of what I've been doing is kind of alternative marketing methods where we had a bunch of stuff that we should have been doing that we weren't doing, and I figured out a bunch of what that was and re-implemented it. And so lots of emails, social media. I don't really handle the social media side as much. I'll create a bunch of the content for social media. So I'm more of a content creator, I guess you could say.
Right. And so the Foundry's located in Bessemer, and so how far of a drive is that for you?
Yeah, so now that downtown is reopened, it takes me usually very early. So I'll be out I'll try to be at the Foundry at 7, so I'm usually out of the house at 6. So it only usually takes me like 45 minutes, 55 minutes, somewhere in that range.
All right. And so, but with all of this going on, so tell me how it's affected you personally as far as the Foundry.
So I've gained 2 hours a day, which I've put all 2 hours of that into the church, more than that. But I love working from home. And so I've been with Whit and Jessica a lot more, which is, has its challenges when you're trying to get work done, but it's been awesome being home for me. It's obviously been a lot more work. I was trying to keep up with, Foundry donations are dropping out, so we're trying to find alternative streams there. And when all of this started, I didn't think about how much people were going to need content online, and how the only way for us to engage people was going to be through social media and videos. And so my demand went way up, because it's the only way we can communicate with people right now. And it's very much a one-way communication, it feels like sometimes, where
Right. You're talking about the Foundry?
The Foundry and the church. It's been the same on both, where people engage really well at the church online, but sometimes it feels like, when you're at church, you can see the people and talk to them, but with social media, it feels more like we're just me and you filming videos, and then I film worship, and then I'm at home editing alone for 10 hours, and then we put it out there, and there might be 60 comments on a video. It feels very lonely compared to what it was like before, even though there may be just as many people engaged as there was before all this started. But it's like that at the Foundry too, a lot, where our ministry is very much supported. 60% of it's by thrift stores, and obviously those have been shut down. And people aren't buying cars, and our auto center has been shut down. And people are rightfully nervous about their financial futures. And so one of the great things, if you give to the Foundry, you should obviously keep giving to the Foundry. I'm not suggesting not to, but one of the great things that has been happening is that a bunch of the people, so before I got into this world, I didn't know much of what a grant was. And so a grant, I knew what like government grants were, and that's where the government has money set aside that they want to do something with. And so they open up a contest isn't the right word, but a submission process for you to try to get the money to do what their goal is. So for example, if the government's wanting to, like say they're wanting to clean up rivers, I might have an organization that already does that, so I might submit myself to get some of that money to continue what I'm doing. But there are other organizations who do grants as well. Businesses like Regions do grants, Alabama Power does grants, and so we have a skew of people who we get grant money from that we submit throughout the year. And recently, those people have been very openly telling us, we're going to make sure you're supported during this time. We're opening up the banks to make sure that ministries are supported. So it's been really great seeing businesses like Regions really stepping up and others saying, hey, we're going to make sure that the life-giving work you're doing is going to keep going at this.
So with all of this that's going on, even the Foundry's been seeing some incredible blessings with people stepping up and giving. And so you're able to work from home, but your workload's changed,
Yeah.
but it's got heavier. And of course, here at church, it's gotten heavier. So so tell people how many videos, what your church week looks like now.
So a regular week, well, let's do the worst week because I think that's the most entertaining one to talk about. So when all this hit the fan and we were like scrambling trying to figure out what to do, and we were like, you said, I want to do a sermon on courage. And I was like, oh, it would be cool to do it at like Palisades Park or something like that because people do rock climbing and rappelling. And then I was like, the next day or so, I thought, oh, we have people who rappel at church and do rock climbing. We should video them doing rappelling and rock climbing. And so that's how that kind of came about. And so that week looks like, we had streaming on Sunday, and we stream from my house. We don't stream from the church. So I've got my computer set up at the house, and I'm streaming on my internet right now. And luckily, that's been going fine. I guess if we have any issues with that, we'll move it to the church, but it's been going fine so far. And then Monday's our break day, where we don't really do much. And then me and you record the sermon on Tuesday for Wednesday. So Wednesday's talk is filmed on Tuesday. Then Wednesday we stream it. Thursday I'll record with Miss Darcy for Sunday teachings, and if the other talent is available, we'll record with them as well. So Custom Closet Heroes, our recurring one, sometimes we have to film with them on Friday instead of Thursday, and then I'm filming the band also on Thursday or Friday as well, which that's like a whole headache and a half trying to figure out, because I've been trying to keep as many people away as possible just to hold to quarantine guidelines. And so all the camera work and the lyrics and switching between the cameras I'm doing by myself. And so we may have to change that up here soon. I think we're going to do acoustic again, so that shouldn't be an issue this time. But and then on either Thursday or Friday we'll also film the sermon, unless we're doing a special one on Saturday. And then so like that rappelling day, that week was a crazy week because I filmed the Wednesday night service on Tuesday. We had streaming on Wednesday. I filmed with Miss Darcy on Thursday. I filmed with Costume Closet Friday. And I filmed worship on Thursday. And then Saturday morning we got up early and went to Palisades, and I edited. I never took a break. I edited all day Saturday, and then I think I texted you guys at 12:30 saying that it was done that night.
Yeah.
That was an extreme example. It obviously hasn't been like that every week.
But most every week you're still filming on Tuesday. You're having to film
At least 3 days a week.
You're having to film for children's ministry, somebody teaching, because another one that you do is Jessica and some different people, the Black Welders. They've filmed some stuff. So you've been doing a lot of videoing, and that's one reason I wanted the people to hear how much you have been doing, and just to say, thank you for that. So tell us, and by the way, You haven't told everybody the biggest news, Hunter.
That Jessica's pregnant?
Yeah, you're
that's
pregnant,
cool.
man. So in the middle of all this, you have a pregnant wife.
So that's been fun.
And then you guys have been entertaining me and Darcy and Darcy's family as well. We've all been coming over on Sundays and Jessica's family. I said Darcy's family, but Jessica's family, and just somebody's been cooking. We've been eating really good, and all of us have been.
I don't think the hard part of all this is like the amount of work. It's how spread out it is. And I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I'll wake up and work out and exercise in front of the TV and eat breakfast. And then by that time, Whit's waking up, but I need to be working. So I already have these distractions starting. And then like before, I had like a pretty good idea of what the work I needed to do was, and I could like separate my day. I could stop working at this time, but I find myself just like constantly working on the next project. And it's not because I have so much work, it's because I might stop for an hour and do something with Jessica and Whit, and then then I have to be back at the computer. So I just find myself in front of the computer a lot, and it's like spread out over the week because we might film on a Friday, so that means I need to edit on a Saturday, and then I'm streaming on Sunday, and then we don't do anything Monday, and then I'm recording Tuesday, editing Wednesday, streaming Wednesday, recording Thursday, recording Friday, editing Saturday. So it's just like every day. It feels like I'm not complaining, but it's kind of like I can't remember what day it is.
Right. We also had the thing with the Saturday Easter service, all that went in. You had to move all that equipment over there, and just...
We met at Homestead Hollow. Me and you and a bunch of guys met at 9 a.m. in Homestead Hollow. And we put together the stage, the LED walls, ran 2 services, and took it all down and had it on the truck at 9 p.m. So in 12 hours, we set up, ran 2 services, and tore down.
Yeah, and by the way, I met those guys at 9, but I got down there at 5:30, so I had a little bit of work before then, but it was all worth it. It was a great day. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Of course, I want you to give the people some news about how we're going to change how you view these videos. But before we do that, before we give them the news on what we're going to do there, I want you to tell us what you've personally learned through these things. Maybe something, it can be practical, spiritual, relational, whatever, and then just how do you think this is going to change the church in the long term? And then we'll give them the news about what's going to change.
So when this first started and we realized, because like obviously nobody had any warning this was happening. Like we knew that COVID-19 was over in China and that, but I don't think anybody really truly understood the implications. So it felt like one week we were going to have church and the next week we just didn't. And we didn't get any warning. So it's not like we sat down and had meetings. So basically we put something that we would have planned for 3 or 4 months, we put into effect in a week. And so like some things that feel like we maybe made mistakes on, but it felt very early on I started preaching the message that innovation was the name of the game, that we needed to innovate and really push ourselves to the next level, and that all of this was actually an opportunity in disguise for us to do things better and more efficiently. And it's definitely done that for me, where we had kind of stopped some creative efforts at the church in order to meet some technical needs. And that was setting up a 3-camera system with live lyrics underneath the camera. There was a bunch of technical hurdles that we overcame in a period of time, and it was a huge learning curve for me to try to get that technology implemented. And then we did a bunch of sound technology so there was a bunch of technology that we were having learning curves with, and it took us like 2 years. Well, I've done that much innovation with technology curves that we did in 2 years. I've done more than that in the last like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's been very good for our church on that end. And I really love the fact that people are embracing social media and Facebook, we've got some things in the works to try to help people who haven't been able to engage with us better. But for us, it's less about engagement and more about, like, a lot of people are at home and are missing out on the interactions they need and maybe missing out spiritually. And I just really want us to be there for those people and to be available. And so, like, engagement for us doesn't look like better numbers. Engagement for us looks like, we're an easy to access, easily available. If you need to talk to us, it's not hard to get in contact with us, and you feel like you're involved with what we're doing. I think, like, Easter was really cool with that, where we had a direct way people gave, and now we already have multiple projects going where we're refunneling that into people who actually need it. And so I hope that people who are watching online really feel engaged with what we're doing, and that our future projects, we may do more drive-ins and stuff like that, that they just feel engaged with us and with God. And
yeah, we're working behind the scenes on maybe doing some more drive-in. We need some technical equipment to be able to pull it off, and so we're doing that. And part of me getting behind the camera, not just being in front of the camera all the time, even though you hear me asking questions, I'm going to do this some more on Wednesday nights. And I think in the long term, you guys will see this. We believe the Word of God and Bible study and all that's important, but we also believe engaging with the church family and feeling connected is important. And so that's our motivation to do it. So we realize that Facebook has its limitations on what we do. We don't know how long all of this is going to last, so we need to be able to make sure that we get prayer requests out, people being able to give, people being able to interact. So we've been looking at some technology where we still are leveraging Facebook, we're leveraging YouTube and some different things. So in the future, there's something we're going to do to be able to see the sermons and the service and these teachings. So tell everybody what that is.
Okay, I'm actually testing it out right now as this is going on. And so I don't want to bore everybody with the technical details because I love the technical details and I could.
Well, just tell them where they can go in the address.
So this is what we're doing. I use a service where I stream to the service and it throws the streams out to all these other platforms. So I stream to the service and it goes to YouTube and Facebook. Well, we're adding another platform to that list. And it's something that Life Church provides, but it allows us to do a lot of cool things. It adds a prayer request button at the bottom. It has where we can put the sermon notes on it. We can have live chat just like Facebook. There's a Bible app right baked into it. There's just a lot of cool. If someone gets saved, there's like a way that they can, announce that they just got saved during the sermon, and we can engage with that person. And so it's really easy. If you want to go to it right now and look at it, you just go to live.bradfordroad.com. It should be, at the bottom of the screen here, but it's just live.bradfordroad.com. And
so this Sunday, that's where they can go.
This Sunday, you can go there.
You hope.
Absolutely. They're going to be able to go there and do it this Sunday.
And so, but it's going to have some interaction. I want to make sure I get this. So we'll be able to put the sermon notes there.
Yeah.
We'll be able to access the scripture right there.
Yeah.
Especially if you're watching on the iPad.
If you're watching on your phone, you can still go to it. I'm going to see if I can look at it right now and make sure we get the details right.
And then you can do prayer requests. There's more interaction that can go on from there. So it's going to better serve our people.
So it's really cool because it's got, it's very mobile friendly. You can request a prayer, put a prayer request in. You can access the Bible right there and our notes, and you can actually see the schedule when the next streams are coming up.
Awesome.
And it's streaming right now. If you want to go look at it, we're streaming to it. It'll be up for after the service for 10 minutes where you guys can still chat there and stuff like that. But the big thing is just that Facebook can be a little bit tricky about finding the live videos, and we don't want it to be difficult. And it's real easy. If you know that the service is starting at 10:45, you can, at 10:40, 10:35, you can just go to live.bradfordroad.com and just hang out until the service starts.
So one of the concerns that we have that we talk about is people that are not real technical savvy. They've been really struggling trying to find this on Facebook. We've had some people we've talked to that's only watched one of the sermons. We've been, we've 5 weeks into this, or ever how long we're into it. So we're concerned about that, and that's a motivation to change. And tell everybody the address again.
So it's just live.bradfordroad.com.
Live.bradfordroad.com. So if you know somebody they haven't had Facebook, maybe they don't know how to use YouTube or whatever, they can certainly type in an address. Doesn't take that much tech savvy to do that. So call them, help them find it so that we can interact together. So please do that. So Hunter, thank you for all the hard work you've been doing. Man, you've been great. Of course, we pray for the Foundry, Jessica being pregnant, man, all the extra work that you're doing here at church.
It sounds like a lot of work, and there have been days when I'm like, this is crazy. But then the majority of the time, it's just been like when God gives you an opportunity to do something and then you get to do it, like that's the best feeling, right? And so that's what it's felt like, that
Yeah.
In times of crisis, you want to be the person that steps up and is handling the crisis.
Right.
And so I've had that opportunity to be that person at the moment. And maybe we'll get some things in place where there's not so much strain on me, but right now it doesn't matter because we're handling a crisis.
Yeah, right before all this happened, Hunter made the statement that he was underutilized at church, so God answered that. So he's utilized now. And plus, with all this that's going on, you're getting to spend a lot more time with your dad. That's got to be a big plus in your life, spending all that time with your dad. So, hey, I want you to do something for me. I want you to pray for our church. Just pray that God will teach us through this and guide us through this. So would you guys join Hunter as he prays a prayer blessing?
God, I just want to come to you and thank you for all the good things that you're doing for us and the things you're teaching us during this time. The people who are most affected by what's going on, I just wish that you would be with them to provide them clarity and insight in their situation, but to also be the great comforter of those people and to provide them a way out. I feel like I have it relatively easy, God, with what's going on compared to what some people are going through. And I just ask you to show me ways where I can help people who are in great need. And that anybody who's listening, maybe that if they have opportunities, that they'll be equipped to help people who are in need. I ask you to, in this time of confusion and we don't know what the future holds, to give us a sense of clarity in the moment, to give us vision of what this looks like going forward, and to give us comfort that no matter what's going on, that you have our lives in control, like you hold our lives in your hands, and that no matter what's going on, there's a greater purpose that you're guiding us to. Thank you. I recognize the good things you're doing for us right now, and I pray that you just keep us safe and keep us wise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you again, Hunter. You've been awesome. So, hey guys, I'm going to turn this back to me and explain. I feel like I haven't explained flipping the script. So I'm going to go and be behind the camera, and I'm going to interview some of our staff, some different people in church. You can also send us a video of an interesting story, something happened with you. A cool thing about the iPhones today is that they make fantastic videos. And so, do you want them to turn it a certain way, Hunter?
How about I'll post a video later this week giving people a guide on that.
All right, gave Hunter another job. So he's going to post a video on how to make a video with your phone and send it to us. You can send it to rdavis1004@gmail.com. And instead of giving out Hunter's email, that's what we'll do, and I'll just forward it to him. And plus, I'll get to see the great testimony first. So flipping the script on Wednesdays, we're going to be going and checking some people out. Matter of fact, we've already done some videos. They're going to be awesome. You're really going to enjoy them. God bless. We'll see you Sunday. Make sure you tune in.
Go ahead. God bless my hand. Laugh at me. Where you stand. Go ahead. Say it isn't me. Take it wrong. You will see. 'Cause I'll rise again. There's no power on earth can tie me down. Yes, I'll rise again. Death can't keep me in the ground. Mark my name, my love for you is still the same. Go ahead, bury me very soon. I will be free. 'Cause I'll rise again. Ain't no power on earth can tie me down. Yes, I'll rise again. Death can't keep me in the ground.